The laughter started on the first day. Cadet Maya Reyes stepped through the gates of the Galactic Unified Military Academy with a duffel bag twice her size slung over her shoulder and fire burning behind her dark brown eyes. She stood at 5 feet 2 inches, small even by human standards, and among the towering cadets of the Korath, the Velthari, and the Dravan species, she looked like a child who had wandered into the wrong building. "They let that through selection," rumbled a Korath cadet, his gray-plated chest vibrating with low amusement. He stood nearly 9 feet tall, for muscled arms crossed like tree trunks over his torso. His name was Gurak, and he had never lost a sparring match in his life. His companions laughed, a horrible, multitonal sound that rattled the corridor walls. Maya set her duffel bag down. She looked up at Gurak the way a person looks at a problem they intend to solve. Then she picked up her bag again and walked to her assigned bunk. She said nothing. The Academy trained warriors for the Galactic Coalition, beings from 47 species who had, after centuries of conflict, chosen to stand together against the Void Swarm. The Swarm did not negotiate. The Swarm did not sleep. The Swarm consumed. In the face of that, species put aside old rivalries. Mostly. The Korath still laughed at Maya. During the first week's endurance trials, she finished the gravity-adjusted obstacle course in 4th place overall, remarkable for a human with no biomechanical enhancements. But when the scores were posted, Gurak pointed at her name and said, "The small one almost kept up. Should we give her a medal for trying?" During combat theory, she answered 3 questions correctly before any other cadet. The Velthari instructor noted her scores with raised eye crests. Gurak whispered to his companions that humans memorized well, like trained animals. During weapons qualification, she outshot every Dravan cadet at 300 meters with a pulse rifle she had never held before enrollment. Gurak said nothing that time. But his silence was the silence of a being who has not yet decided to be impressed. Maya absorbed it all. She trained before reveille and after lights out. She ate with efficiency, slept with discipline, and fought with a ferocity that disturbed even cadets who weren't actively mocking her. There was something unsettling about the way she never backed down, something primal in a creature so small who refused, completely and without exception, to be afraid. But ridicule had weight. It pressed down. It accumulated. By the 3rd month, even some of the neutral cadets had started keeping their distance from Maya, not out of dislike, but out of social caution. Gurak was influential. His family held rank in the Korath High Command. Making an enemy of him over a small human hardly seemed wise. Maya ate alone more often than not. She didn't show that it hurt. But it did. The day Krex arrived changed everything. He came unannounced, escorted by 2 academy commanders who walked slightly behind him, not out of ceremony, but out of instinct. Even trained soldiers gave Krex space without thinking about it. He was Rockthari, the apex predator species of the Outer Reach, beings who had evolved on a world where every other life form was trying to kill them, and who had responded to that pressure by becoming something that nothing wanted to hunt twice. Krex stood 7 feet tall with a lean, armored build that suggested compressed violence. His scales were deep obsidian with faint bioluminescent patterns that pulsed slowly when he was calm and blazed like warning lights when he was not. His eyes were gold, vertical-pupilled, and they moved with the constant, unhurried assessment of a being who catalogued threats the way others breathed. He had been assigned as a senior war exchange cadet, a program that embedded elite warriors from allied species into the academy to train alongside the next generation. He had requested the assignment himself. The mess hall went quiet when Krex entered that evening. He collected his ration tray, scanned the room with those golden eyes, and walked directly to the corner table where Maya Reyes sat alone, reading a tactical manual while eating. He sat down across from her. Maya looked up. She did not flinch. She looked at him the same way she had looked at Gurak on day 1, like a problem she intended to understand. "You are Cadet Reyes," Krex said. His voice was low, resonant, built for carrying across distances. I have reviewed the performance logs. Your reaction times in zero-gravity simulation are the fastest in your cohort. Maya closed her manual. By 0.3 seconds. In combat, 0.3 seconds is the difference between a story and a grave. He began eating with precise, efficient movements. I watched your weapons qualification recording. You corrected for atmospheric drift before the system prompted the adjustment. The wind changed, she said simply. Krex studied her for a long moment. Yes. It did. He returned to his meal. You noticed. They ate in silence for a while. It was not an uncomfortable silence. It was the silence of two beings who had both learned that words cost more than most things and should be spent accordingly. From across the mess hall, Guruk watched with narrowed eyes. Word spread fast, the Rock 3 walks with the small human. They trained together in the mornings. Krex did not take it easy on Maya, he pushed her into situations that would have broken other cadets, and she met each one with the grinding, relentless human quality that the Rock 3 found both baffling and deeply impressive. She did not stop. Not when her lungs burned. Not when her muscles failed. She found another gear that shouldn't have existed and used it. In turn, Maya learned from Krex how to move in ways that used an opponent's size against them, how to read a fight 3 moves ahead, how to make stillness into a weapon. Why do they laugh at you? Krex asked one morning, after sparring. Maya wiped blood from a split lip. Because I'm small. You are efficient, he corrected. Less mass to move. Lower center of gravity. Harder to target. The Korath mistake compactness for weakness. He paused. They will not make that mistake for much longer. The moment of reckoning came 6 weeks later, during the Academy's semi-annual challenge trials, an open-bracket combat tournament that every cadet participated in, regardless of species or rank. Guruk had won it 3 years running. He drew Maya in the 3rd round. The observation deck was packed. Species clustered in their groups, whispering. The Korath contingent was openly amused. Some had brought rations, as if settling in for entertainment rather than a match. Krex stood at the edge of the combat floor, arms folded, gold eyes forward. He did not cheer. He watched. Guruk rolled his 4 massive shoulders and grinned at Mia across the starting line. Don't be ashamed, little one. Losing to me is an honor. Maya bounced once on the balls of her feet, exhaled slowly, and said, start the timer. What happened next lasted 47 seconds. Maya moved like something that had been wound too tight and finally released. She didn't fight Guruk's strength, she redirected it, used it, turned his own mass into a liability. She was under his guard before he processed she had moved, hit the nerve cluster behind his second left elbow that her research had identified as a Korath pressure point, and when his arm buckled, she used the opening. 47 seconds. Guruk hit the mat. The silence in the arena lasted nearly as long. Then the Velthari contingent began striking their palms together in the pattern that meant well fought. The Dravan followed with their low, resonant hum of respect. Even some of the neutral cadets called out. Krex said nothing. But he turned to look at the Korath section, and the weight of his golden gaze was a full sentence. It said, I told you. You simply did not listen. Maya won the tournament. She stood on the platform afterward, the scoring band around her wrist, looking out at 47 species who were now seeing her, really seeing her, for the first time. Krex stood in the audience. He inclined his head, the Rock 3 gesture of acknowledgement between equals. Maya returned it. Later, when a younger human cadet who had just enrolled found her and asked, terrified and overwhelmed, how she had survived her first months here, Maya sat down with her, looked her in the eyes, and said, you keep going. That's it. That's the whole secret. You keep going until they understand what you are. She didn't mention the loneliness. Or the laughter. Or the mornings she had trained alone in the dark. She didn't need to. The younger cadet had already seen the tournament footage. Everyone had. Across 47 species, in the records of the Galactic Unified Military Academy, Cadet Maya Reyes was listed under a new classification following the challenge trials. The classification, borrowed from Rocktheory military taxonomy, translated roughly as small in form, immovable in spirit. Do not underestimate. The Korath did not laugh again.